That feeling, right? When you're planning a trip, maybe somewhere really vibrant or just trying to understand a new place, and you just wish someone would cut through all the noise and tell you the absolute best time to go. And critically, why? Especially for somewhere like Morocco. It's so rich, so diverse, and timing isn't just, a preference. It can genuinely transform your whole experience. Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're digging into your sources on Morocco, best seasons to visit. Our mission, to pull out the most valuable nuggets from the articles, the research, the notes you've shared, basically give you a shortcut to being properly clued in about Morocco's climate and, the best times for a visit. We're going beyond just dates, though. We want to get into the why behind it all. Okay, so let's unpack this. The sources, they lay out some pretty clear recommendations. That part's straightforward. But what's really fascinating, I think, is the why behind them. This intricate dance of geography and meteorology that shapes Morocco's unique weather. It's not just about, what jacket to pack.
It's understanding these bigger forces that shape your whole trip.
Exactly. And what's compelling here is how those broad recommendations, go in spring or fall, are so deeply rooted in Morocco's specific climate conditions. It isn't simply about finding pleasant temperatures. It's really about understanding the forces creating those conditions and how they all come together to make certain times of year just, exceptional for travelers.
So let's get right to it then, the straightforward answer. If you're looking for that absolute sweet spot for visiting Morocco, your sources are crystal clear. You're aiming for spring, think mid-March through May or the fall, so
Yeah.
September, October, maybe even into November. During these periods, the weather is consistently described as mild yet really comfortable. Perfect sightseeing weather, right? For exploring those bustling souks or ancient kasbahs, not too hot, not too cold.
hmm And it's a really vital distinction worth flagging that the coastal regions offer a slightly different picture. Because they're moderated, by the Atlantic, they tend to stay accessible, pretty enjoyable actually all year round. They offer a more reliable, milder option even outside those peak spring and fall windows. So if your dream is purely a beach holiday, you've got a bit more flexibility there.
That's a crucial point. Because when you look at the other seasons, wow, the picture changes pretty dramatically across Morocco. Like imagine planning a summer trip, especially inland, cities like Marrakech, Fez. The sources don't really mince words here. They emphasize summer can be extremely hot. We're
Yeah.
talking proper blazing dry heat. I mean, sure, it creates a certain vibes after sunset, but daytime exploring. It can turn exploring those incredible historical sites into, well, a real test of endurance. It's a different kind of travel experience altogether, isn't it?
Absolutely. You'd really be adjusting to the local rhythm, maybe embracing a long siesta in the heat of the day, or focusing your main activities on the cooler mornings and evenings. It definitely reshapes your itinerary, your energy levels. Then you look at winter. Now, the coast offers that mildness we mentioned, but head inland, go up into the Atlas Mountains, beautiful, magnificent mountains, but you're entering a completely different climate zone. Our sources say winter brings freezing temperatures and snow there, which, okay, could be great for skiing or dramatic snowy landscapes, but it's a significant hurdle if you're not prepared for it.
That incredible contrast between seasons, between regions.
Yeah.
It really underlines why understanding Morocco's climate is so important. It's clearly not like a uniform experience across the whole country. And that variability, that fascinating difference, is directly linked to its geography and this complex interplay of natural systems. Which really brings us to the why, the deep dive into Morocco's climate story. So our sources explain that a lot of Morocco, especially near the coast, has what's called a classic Mediterranean climate. For our listener, what exactly does that mean, and why is it so significant for Morocco?
Okay, yeah. A classic Mediterranean climate, for anyone less familiar, it's a very distinct pattern. It generally means you experience those famously mild, wet winters, and then the contrast. Blisteringly hot, very dry summers. It's a pattern shaped by this convergence of oceanic and continental influences, kind of unique to these latitudes. For Morocco, this is fundamental. It defines the rhythm of its seasons. It dictates everything from farming cycles to, the best times for tourism.
Right, a very specific seasonal rhythm. And if we zoom in on the rainy season, the sources highlight it typically runs from October to April on average. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While it's true that torrential downpours can cause deadly floods, which is serious, definitely something to consider in certain areas, there are also several specific, quite powerful elements that actively work to limit the country's overall rainfall. So it doesn't just become a constant deluge, right? It's not just a free-for-all of rain.
That's a crucial distinction, because knowing why these conditions exist helps you predict the nuances. It's a delicate balance. Morocco's location, the forces acting on it, they create a very specific rainfall profile. And it's not always what people might expect from a rainy season in other parts of the world. It's often more about specific, maybe intense, but concentrated periods of rain, rather than just sustained dampness for months.
And this leads us to where the climate story gets really fascinating. What's one of the key geographical factors that explains these distinct rainfall patterns, particularly this limiting effect the sources talk about?
Well, a primary influence is Morocco's geographic position. It sits right on the southern edge of the mid-latitude frontal storm system that passes over the North Atlantic on a regular basis. Okay, let's break that down a bit. Imagine these mid-latitude frontal storm systems as huge, sweeping weather fronts. Like the powerful rain systems we see moving across North America or Europe, often driven by the jet stream. Being on their southern edge means Morocco mostly catches the later, more variable fringes of these systems. It doesn't usually get the full storm-packed force.
Okay, so it's like being on the edge of the main weather highway. You just catch the occasional passing shower, maybe, rather than being right in the storm's path.
Precisely. And that's why, as the sources highlight, rainfall in Morocco is often relatively light, and it actually decreases quite steadily as you move from the north of the country down towards the south. So if you're in Tangier, up north, you're likely to see more rain than if you're further south, say, down near Agadir. It's a direct result of that latitude, that positioning relative to these major storm tracks.
That's a really clear picture of how geography dictates climate.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the only thing going on, is it? The sources point to another significant force during that rainy season. What other sort of invisible atmospheric things are shaping this?
Right. Another powerful factor is the formation of these high-pressure ridges offshore during the rainy season. You can think of these as vast, stable domes of sinking air. They act like atmospheric bouncers, essentially. They effectively push storms further north, away from Morocco's main landmass. These ridges basically block incoming weather systems, diverting them often up towards Europe.
Wow, so these high-pressure systems are literally pushing the rain away from Morocco. That's quite a defense mechanism. What happens if these bouncers decide to stick around for a while?
Well, the consequence there is significant. When these ridges stay put for a long time, they can actually cause severe drought conditions. And this isn't just hypothetical. History shows that prolonged periods of this high-pressure dominance have led to major water scarcity issues in Morocco, impacting farming, daily life, everything. So it's not just if it rains, but where these pressure systems decide to settle and for how long they stay. Their interaction is critical to understanding Morocco's climate variability.
It's incredible how these atmospheric bouncers can redirect huge storms. But if we look towards the ocean itself, there's another powerful constant influence working along Morocco's western shores, isn't there?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the influence of the cool Canary Current off the western coast. Now, this isn't just a minor detail. It's a critical player in stabilizing the atmosphere all along that western seaboard. Cool ocean currents, like the Canary Current, they effectively chill the air right above the water. This makes the air more stable, less likely to rise. And for rain, for precipitation to happen, you generally need warm, moist air to rise and condense.
So basically, this cool current acts like a natural rain suppressor. It keeps the air too stable for big storms to develop easily right along the coast.
Precisely. It significantly reduces the likelihood of precipitation right there along the coast. For you, the traveler, this means if your ideal Moroccan trip involves sun-drenched beaches and minimal rain, especially during the generally wetter season, those western coasts, influenced by the Canary Current, are kind of your secret weapon. They're naturally shielded by this big oceanic influence. It really helps explain why coastal cities can be pleasant pretty much year-round.
It's truly amazing how these different forces, global ones like Atlantic storms, regional ones like high-pressure zones, local ones like that ocean current, how they all converge. They shape Morocco's climate in such a specific way, and it directly impacts everything from agriculture and water to, obviously, the best timing for tourism. It's a really complex, interconnected system. Okay, so if we put some hard numbers to this, what do the sources tell us about Morocco's average temperatures?
Well, the sources indicate Morocco's overall average temperature across the whole year is about 17.5 degrees Celsius. But, as we've been saying, that's just an average. It definitely hides a lot of the variation, the extremes.
Right, and when you break it down by month, the average monthly temperatures swing quite dramatically. From a cooler 9.4 degrees Celsius in December and January, aligning with those colder winter months we talked about, all the way up to an average of 26 degrees Celsius in July and August. That really highlights the broad spectrum, doesn't it? From potentially freezing mountain winters to that scorching summer heat on the plains. It's a country of really dramatic thermal contrasts.
Uh-huh. And it's those extremes that really define the best time for many visitors. And it explains why spring and fall are so consistently recommended. You're aiming for that sweet spot
Mm,
where temperatures are neither, uncomfortably cold nor overwhelmingly hot. It just allows for comfortable exploration across all those diverse landscapes Morocco offers.
absolutely. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, it means that based on all these climate factors, the Mediterranean influence, those things limiting rainfall, the temperature swings, spring from March to May and fall from September to November truly are the best times to visit for that mild, pleasant weather. It's about more than just, looking at a calendar. It's understanding the nuances beyond just a number on a thermometer. It's knowing why your experience will be so different if you visit in April versus, say, August, and understanding how those big geographical and meteorological systems dictate it all. That lets you choose the adventure that really suits what you're looking for.
Exactly. It gives you a much richer, more empowering understanding than just go in April.
Mm,
You're now equipped to really tailor your Moroccan experience based on a deeper grasp of its natural rhythms.
precisely. So we've seen how Morocco's unique position and climate makes spring and fall that sweet spot. We've covered the ideal seasons. We understand why summer can be scorching, especially in places like Marrakech and Fez, and why winter offers such varied experiences, freezing mountains, moderate coasts. And crucially, we unpacked those fascinating climate mechanisms, the Atlantic storms, those high-pressure bouncers redirecting rain, and the stabilizing effect of the cool Canary Current off the west coast.
So now you're not just informed, you're really equipped with the why behind it all. You understand the intricate natural forces sculpting Morocco's weather, which helps you make much more informed decisions for your travel plans, or honestly, just appreciate the country's geography more deeply. Makes every sunset or cool breeze feel a bit more meaningful, perhaps.
hmm And, this brings up an important thought, maybe a question to leave you with. In a world where we know climates are shifting, subtle changes in ocean currents, storm tracks, pressure systems, how might these delicate balances, the ones that shape a region's best seasons, how might they evolve? What could that mean for places like Morocco, whose character is so deeply tied to these natural rhythms, in the years and decades ahead? Something to perhaps ponder as you plan your next adventure or just look at a weather map with maybe slightly newer eyes.